1 week before the pandemic hit, unaware of what was about to take place worldwide, Taylor Hersom quit his job as a Chief Information Security Officer for a local firm in Austin, Texas, in the hopes of finding a similar job elsewhere. With a background working at Deloitte, where he advised Fortune 500 companies on compliance and security tactics, and his recent position at the local firm, he didn't anticipate finding a new job to be a difficult feat. However, as the pandemic set in, his interview offers dried up and he was forced to turn to UpWork for jobs. In the beginning, he applied for as many posts as he could find in order to build up his review score. He began taking on clients and quickly realized that startups needed a lot of help with security and compliance, and he knew this could be a genuine business for him. But what he didn't realize was just how in demand his services would be. As time went on, Taylor was forced to move away from UpWork and hire help in order to meet demand. Shortly after this, on January 1st, 2021, his new company was born and Eden Data became official. In today's episode of the Brains Bite Back podcast, Taylor, now CEO and founder of Eden Data, shares how the team has grown the company in such a short period of time by taking a positive approach to security instead of the traditional fear-based approach. Taylor also shares how their subscription approach to security and compliance has helped them stand out in this market, allowing them to scale alongside the startups they work with. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Disclosure: this episode contains a client of an Espacio portfolio company. Now, I know you started your career at Deloitte, where you advised Fortune 500 companies on compliance and security tactics. And from there, you took a role as a Chief Information Security Officer for a local firm, where you were not only responsible for building an entire security program from the ground up, but you were also one of the youngest executive level security officers in the industry. So this is like a very impressive background, I have to say. Would you be able to share how you, or how Eden Data started, like how you got to where you are today with Eden Data, and like what happened in between that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for the breakdown, Sam. So essentially, Eden Data happened by accident. You gave a good backstory, sold my soul to Deloitte, and then got an exposure to the security industry as a CISO briefly. And so I made this brilliant decision to quit my job the week before COVID started, and all my interviews dried up. Everything went to heck in a handbasket, and it was a very pivotal moment in my life where I had to figure out, what the heck am I going to do? So I started, of all things, just doing consulting on UpWork, and I took on some clients on there, and I was just looking, I was applying for as many posts as I could find, building up my review score, and I started to see this inherent trend with startups specifically needing help with security and compliance. And that's when the light bulb moment happened of, okay, this could be an actual business. However, I still didn't think it was going to be a business with a bunch of team members. I thought it was going to be just me doing consulting and putting it under an LLC. But naturally, we just kept taking on more and more clients to where I outgrew UpWork and needed to hire out of necessity. And I started with some contractors and then made everything official January 1st of 2021. And that was how Eden Data was born.
Oh wow, congrats, man. That is a wonderful success story. I mean, I can't even begin to imagine how panicked you must have been, quitting and then having that happen like a week later. So it's fantastic to see that you have not only persevered against difficult odds, but like thrived in such a short space of time. So well done on that.
Oh, I appreciate the kind words. I think you always hear those success stories from founders that had their back against the wall, and you surprisingly, you hear a lot of success stories of people that came from nothing and were broke and all those things. And I certainly wasn't there, but I think that we do operate really well when we feel like we have only one option, and that's either to thrive or die. That's a very, very blunt way to put it, but I definitely felt like I was more scrappy because of my limited options.
Fantastic. And I love the fact that we've got you on, because these are the kind of the stories that I really love to cover on this show. So it's great to bring you on with that background. And now, with regards to Eden Data, can you give us an insight a little bit more into like what it does overall, please?
Absolutely. So we offer consulting services to startups and cloud-based organizations around cybersecurity, compliance, and data privacy. The way we went about it was we try to make our service more unique by offering it in the form of a subscription style service. So, which is a bit abnormal for consulting, but we offer kind of this retainer style security team where they can scale with the companies that we serve. And so we bring in the right talent for if they're dealing with a cybersecurity issue, or they're dealing with compliance readiness, or they're dealing with some data privacy issue, and have the right team members at the right time serving them, and offering it in such a way that it's typically more affordable, but definitely more effective than just hiring an expensive in-house resource. And so the beauty of everything that we do is we get to touch all sorts of things that fall in those three buckets, and have been a part of some cool journeys and some really, really cool brands along the way.
Awesome, cool. I have to say, before we go ahead, I'm really curious to know where the name Eden Data comes from. I'm not a religious person, but I do love the name Eden because it always just makes me think of a lush garden, really. So I'm I'm curious to know like why Eden Data has its name specifically.
It's a question I get asked a lot, and I love it because there was purpose behind it, but you nailed it, Sam. Like when people think of the Garden of Eden, they immediately think, regardless of your religious beliefs, like everyone can resonate with the fact that it's a beautiful, lush garden. And the original definition of the Garden of Eden was bringing order to chaos, and that was what had sparked for me, is that these amazing companies that were coming in and building security for their security and compliance is in complete shambles, their program. And so we're bringing order to their security chaos. And that's where the name stemmed from. I think that there's also like a lot of uniformity and organization of the Garden of Eden, and it's perfect in many ways. And so that's what we would like to do for our customer security programs.
Cool, awesome. Yeah, I like that. Eden Data, bringing order to chaos.
I
Oh,
know,
yeah.
maybe we just need to make that our tagline.
Yeah.
We need a tagline for sure.
That could be a good one. Now, if someone is listening to this and they're curious and they're like, you know what, I've got chaos that needs needs to be put into order, and they're interested in using your services, what sort of pricing do you offer? What do they get in return? Like, what do they see for that?
Yeah, that's a good one as well. So the way that we do this is also transparent. On our homepage, we put three different packages and we offer our starting price points. The way that to the entrepreneurs out there that are listening to this, we've been very scrappy and AKA flying by the seat of our pants when we first started trying to figure out our pricing model, and have really changed it quite a bit because we were taking on basically anyone that had a pulse prior. But what we found is that security is very much a loop and not a line, meaning that it is something that once you start investing in it, security and compliance, you can't just get away from it. You have to have someone managing it. You have to maintain it at least. And oftentimes as you're growing as a company, it's going to have to grow as well. And so we have really transitioned into this longer term engagements of everything that we do is on that subscription model I mentioned, and our pricing typically starts around $3,000 a month. But the goal here is for us to replace the need for you to hire one, if not many, security professionals. So to break down what a security team typically entails, a lot of people need a chief security officer, someone to lead the program, a compliance manager that knows the different standards, a data privacy officer that understands the different data privacy regulations globally. And then you've got to have your security analysts that are monitoring logs and doing all of those things. We've really tried to package that with a pretty bow as much as possible into those subscriptions. So we have three packages on our website that range from angel on the shoulder telling you what to do, you go do it, to we're your full-blown security compliance data privacy team. That was a long-winded answer, Sam, but hopefully that answers your question.
No, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. It very much sounds like whatever business you work with or client you work with, you are an extension of their team, more or less.
Absolutely. And we really strive to not be that consulting firm that does the once a week PowerPoint presentation. We don't charge through hours. We're going off of performance, and we're meant to augment an actual team member or multiple team members on the team. So we're engaged with our customers in Slack, and we're very much interacting on a daily basis. And that's an important element of our service.
Hopefully you're enjoying the show, and if you are, make sure you subscribe and never miss an episode. You can find us on all your usual podcast sites: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, and a whole lot more, including YouTube. And we want to hear what you think, so be sure to leave us a review. Just search Brains Bite Back wherever you get your podcasts. On this kind of like topic of like working with clients, do you have any case studies of clients that have benefited from the work that you folks do or have done? And can you share some of the details of how like Eden Data has made a difference?
Absolutely. Man, these questions are on point, Sam. I love it. So we do have case studies. We're finally at the point where we've put together some great case studies. We put them on our website, but we've had the ability to list the dozen or so brands that we serve, and that we're really excited about. And I think in more specific terms for case studies, we've had multiple unicorns that weren't unicorns when they came on, but unicorn meaning billion-dollar valuation. And we were able to build their security out. And we've had a couple like Weights and Biases and Kindbody, who are huge brands in the startup space, to where they would come to us and say, hey, we need your help landing these big deals with some of our prospects, that our customers. What they're seeing is that these big companies that they're trying to sell into are demanding security standards, or they're demanding a security certification or attestation. And so they were hiring us to help them get ready for SOC 2 and get ready for HIPAA, and be able to help them expand out globally so that they could be selling into the EU. And we were able to essentially take a program that didn't exist and build something that was a well-oiled machine that was then repeatable each year thereafter. And both of the brands that I just mentioned, we've been serving them since our inception now. And it's been really cool to see their growth and then our ability to grow with them. And Sam, you asked your second part of your question was, how do you see the value? I think a huge component of what we push to differentiate ourselves is staying away from the fear, uncertainty, doubt of security. Like, we are not the firm that's going to come in and say, if you don't hire us, you're going to get breached, and you're going to get fined, and everyone's going to hate you, and you're going to end up in the news, blah, blah, blah. We actually go the route of, let's use security and make it super sexy for you so that you can land more deals, so that you can gain brand awareness, and so that you can be resonating with your customers, that you care about their data and that you are here to protect it. And so we really, really go all in on helping customers close deals faster using security as that metric. And we also, like, we'll even wear the hats for our customers and be representing their brand in interviews with their prospects. So we are there to help them close those deals. And that's a huge way that we add value.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And I have to say, I think that's quite an admirable kind of approach to go with sexy security over the fear aspect, because even though like it is obvious that fear is a huge motivator, I also do find, and I think it's quite transparent, that it can be a kind of manipulative tactic to kind of like stoke fear in someone, to like try and make them do something, even though it does work and it's effective. So I do admire the fact that you've taken a very kind of novel approach to this. And yeah, you're tackling it in a different way.
Thank you. Yeah, it's sad to see where the industry is going. I mean, you have the news and the news this week around Uber and the CISO supposedly allegedly covering up a data breach, and then you've got all these vendors that are popping up out of the woodworks, just going and hitting up companies and saying, you don't want to be like Uber, you better hire us. And that's just sad. It's sad to see. And I understand people are trying to put food on their tables, but a lot of security gets manipulated, and the fear, uncertainty, doubt tactic is very very overused. I'll put it that way.
And well, if you're growing, then you're clearly doing something right. So keep it up. And on that note, more or less, what is next on the horizon for you folks? What do you have planned? What's your priority going to be moving forward?
This is something I love to talk about. So we're very much excited with the splash that we've made in the startup and scale up and cloud organization communities. We really felt like we addressed a need, and now we're in the near term trying to get in front of as many brands as possible. We want to be able to bring that world-class thought leadership around security to any size startup. And so we've been able to really expand our services to be able to serve big startups, but then also small, which is a market that's very, very underserved. So we've got startups on that we have the pleasure of serving that only have a few employees, a few meaning 4 or 5, and we want to continue to expand that out, being able to bring that service to as many possible startups as possible. And then beyond that, we've identified that we can be really good at this security, compliance, data privacy element through our unique approach to offering our service in the form of the subscription, and how we do things with Slack and other elements that I had mentioned previously. But we also see a tremendous opportunity in expanding those services into more things that don't just fall in that kind of virtual CISO bucket. So things like managed services, things like managing mobile devices and helping to manage threat detection and remediation and that sort of stuff. So that's what we're focusing on. And then I think the last thing I would say is really growing the brand and the education that we put out in the market. I think that getting people excited about security, I think you said it well, Sam, of we want to make security sexy. So I know I had mentioned that once, and then you mentioned, and it's just got a ring to it, right? So we want to make people get fired up about security.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like that approach, and I suppose there is some alliteration there, sexy security, that kind of gives it a bit of a ring as well. Fantastic. Well, I really do hope the best for you folks, and I hope you keep growing. And it's wonderful to hear like such a inspiring backstory as well behind your company. And if people do want to keep up with you personally, Taylor, or perhaps Eden Data, how can they do that?
Yeah, so LinkedIn and Twitter are our most active channels, and then of course check out our website. We post blogs, we have a newsletter, we do a few things on there as well. But I would say anybody listening can always hit me up on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn and always looking to connect with more folks.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Taylor.
Thank you, Sam. Thanks for the platform and the opportunity. And thank you, listeners, for taking time out of your day.
Growing a company has many hurdles, from securing funding to expanding your business capabilities to ranking better on search. Each business challenge is uniquely complex. The solution to these challenges is growth-focused digital PR and marketing, and that's where our sponsor Publicize comes in. Publicize sets itself apart from traditional PR companies. It does not charge large retainers or churns out press releases whether you've got a newsworthy announcement or not. Publicize builds on your business's online presence and gets high-quality PR and media coverage for startups and entrepreneurs who are priced out of a broken PR industry. And for a limited time only, exclusive to Brains Bite Back listeners, you can receive a social media assessment as part of your package for any tier of service at no extra charge with this special promotion. To find out more, visit publicize.co/BBB. That's publicize.co/BBB. This is the end of today's show. Thank you so much for listening. If you like this and you want to hear more episodes just like it, then follow and subscribe to Brains Bite Back wherever you get your podcasts. We're also available on YouTube under the channel of our publication, The Sociable. Just search Brains Bite Back and you'll find all of our episodes there. We really love hearing what you have to say, so leave us a review on iTunes or on any other podcasting platform to let us know what you think. You can also reach out on Twitter at The Sociable. And finally, go to sociable.co where you can find all our episodes and plenty of articles on topics just like this. Thanks again for joining us, and until next time, stay safe and stay healthy.